All right, here we go. State of the Guild, March 2022. Today we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff ranging from new org structure, new group composition, zoom out of the macro lens of what we're going to be doing in the next 2 weeks, in the next year or so with Convergence, and just everything in between. So let's get right to it. All right, and before we jump right into the organizational structural changes, I'd like to congratulate Saito on his promotion to being the recruitment lead officer for the guild. He's one of the guild's most enthusiastic members and by far the guild's most active, and I'm excited to see what he brings to the table beyond the work he's already done outside of that official role. And you should be too. He's an awesome guy, and I think it's going to be a really, really huge boon to the growth of the guild going forward, and it's super relevant to all the things we'll be talking about in this video, for why I'm excited that we have a good team to bring what we're going to talk about here to fruition. All right, let's pull up the new CVG org chart. Now this is going to kind of be, this is mostly for the officers, but I want you guys to see it. I want you to see how it's working, some of the changes, and basically where you can find people for their relevant topic, right? So Saito, as we spoke before, will be head of the recruitment composition team, and Trogath and Circles will be working with him closely to work on the best compositions for both teams and filling in those gaps with recruitment, as well as managing anything related to the community growth and structure of the guild. Farky will be heading up our performance and development department, and he has Lotec and Griefer on his team, and they will be analyzing whether or not people are coming with the right consumables, enchants, some problem points as far as people's rotations, and then they can move on the chain and try to work with Saito to kind of fill in gaps as needed for recruitment or replacement, and basically get everyone up to the level that needs to be met by every team member to reach the goals that we have as a team. And Shim, as he's done for several years now, will remain our operations officer. Anything outside of the performance and development of the guild's individual members and recruitment of future members relating to the administrative well-being of the guild will run through Shim. I've always seen him as, the number 2 in Convergence as far as the whole macro lens of running the guild. And yeah, I'm excited to see what this team does, with Sanukas reprising his role as the healing lead, Legacy helping and being an official member of the operations team, and JCC leading and running Orange team. I'm excited for this iteration of the org structure because it allows for us to have a team format where people don't have individual tasks that they live or die by. They have people to share different perspectives for how things are going to work and share the workload together as a unit. I think we're going to get a lot more performance out of kind of what tasks get accomplished, and in those roles I think the quality is just going to increase because we are going to have more eyes looking at every individual circumstance. And on top of all of that, I think the stress level is going to come down knowing you have more people on your team to lean on. Slight cultural changes will be happening in the guild. We're going to keep it a little bit lighter in raids when possible. I don't want anyone to feel burnt out because things are a little bit too try hard and serious all the time. I'd like to keep a little bit of looser environment while still, obviously our cornerstone here is going to be holding people accountable for the time that they waste for other people. And so we want to make sure that, we strike that balance. It's a hard tightrope to walk, but we're going to try to be moving a little bit more in the other direction and try to rein in things when they get a little bit out of control. Dichotomous to that, hopefully you bear with me, we are going to have a little bit of a quicker trigger finger on removing people from the guild, namely trials, where it doesn't look like it's going to work out, right? We've in the past have, held on and stuck with people that we knew probably weren't going to be long-term prospects, whether it was to see if something changed or we really needed that specific role to push a parse week going forward. We saw that with a couple of recent members where we had been discussing removing them for weeks and just never quite pulled the trigger on it. We are definitely going to be quicker on that in the future. We had, for instance, a member of the guild this week that we knew pretty immediately was not going to be in the guild long term. So rather than dragging it out, we've already removed them from the guild. And so that's something we're going to try to be a little bit more hard-nosed on. And I've already spoke with Saito. This means that recruits are going to be a little bit more scrutinized, and his job might have a little bit more to do if something doesn't work out. So we're on the same page with that, and I hope you guys can vibe with kind of that new adjustment to the culture, and I think it's going to be to the benefit of the guild overall. All right, and now I want to start introducing some of the new members that will be joining the guild this week. Some of you have done some ZAs and other content with them, but I'd like to formally introduce several members into the fold today. So let's get started with that. So first up, we have Veramos coming to us as a survival hunter. Really excited to see this addition. Really great player, amazing parses, and this will also allow God Gamer himself, Ricky, to move over to BM. So really excited to see how that flows through. To anyone else who understands just how much hunter theory crafting discussion goes in and out of our raids at any given moment, I am sad to report that it just got a lot worse. All right, next up we have Nostra coming at us as an enhancement shaman. Now he is coming at us from a guild who, not the quickest of kills, but still has some pretty high parses despite those circumstances. I'm really excited to get him in here and see what he does on the CVG roster. I know it's going to be 99s across the board. And the last of the brand new people joining the guild will be Dry Age Beef. I am told he plays a ton of characters, just is on the game all the time, and is a great player. So I'm just really excited to see what he brings to the table. Fury Warriors do a ton of damn, and a good one is always appreciated. So happy to see this integration and where we go from here. Taking over the Disco Dapper role as the Ret Paladin for the guild will be a close personal friend of myself, Shim, and Legacy. Been gaming with them for a long time. Really great gamer. Gonna have some growing pains as far as learning, the ins and outs of Ret. But really excited to have him in there. He was going to join in Wrath of the Lich King as our Ret Paladin, but the need arose for us to, go to him a little bit sooner, and he's taken that mantle up and answering the call. So excited to see the growth there. You'll see tremendous gains week in and week out, and I think it's going to be a really good addition for the team. Mustaka will also be being bumped up to the official rotation for CVG1 as we work out the kinks of what we have planned here. So really excited for all of these new members, and especially what I'm about to talk about for why we have these new members here in the first place. And if you made it to this point in the video, you're probably wondering why we are bringing in all these new people and why these might have a little bit of overlap with what we already have. We are going to finally move into our phase 4 composition we've been wanting to do for a while now, which is 3 melee groups. Now this is going to obviously allow for a ton more speed, a lot more synergy between what we have on offer, and our underlying stated goal of being the world's fastest boss killing guild has just taken a huge leap with this addition. Now there are obviously some issues that arise from such a composition change. Loot was a big concern on why we couldn't do this earlier, but we are going to be working out those kinks and really trying to see this through as our Sunwell comp going into the next phase. Some of the biggest changes on the outset are going to be some of the role swaps that happen within the team. Droogs will be resto for the time being as we move into a hyper late game composition where he can go back into LE for those truly monstrous kills. But for now, we need to fill that role and make sure we're maintaining that 5 healer structure, and we will likely retain that going into Sunwell, where we're going to need a little bit more healing. McDermott will be moving over to Feral, something he's been working on for the last week, and I'm confident he's going to see that transition through. Having him in that second Feral spot is going to allow Fark to be full-time Fury. One of our highest performing, best DPS players in the guild is going to have the opportunity to continue to show that DPS on those fights that he's been helping out on, such as Mother, Council, Illidan, etc. This is also going to mean Bird Squire will have to move to Dream State, something he's also been practicing. This is going to really allow us to basically have an extra DPS in there without the need for the Boomkin in the group. Trogath will be joining the team on his Hunter, and that is going to fill in that role to make sure we get to that crucial 5 Hunter mark that we need to fill out these 3 groups. I've said this again, time and time again, but I am beyond excited to see the kill times that come with this and the camaraderie that comes with knowing that we're doing everything in our power to reach that goal that we've set for ourselves as a team. Now, as you can see, some classes are going to have a rotational structure for the bench. This isn't a pure bench system in which someone sits out every week. We will be rotating this for people based on attendance and the loot that they could gain, and make sure that we're continuing to rotate this out so people don't feel slighted. But we do want to keep a bench for a physical and a range slot so that we can continue to push parse nights without taking long extended breaks in between due to a bad streak of absences as we've had to do in the past. So hopefully this helps out with that, and hopefully everyone can get on the same page as far as moving away from individual concerns on parses and into this goal of what we have as a guild, which is killing bosses as quick as possible. This is going to be such a great benefit for that, and I hope everyone sees it in the same way. If they don't, if we have some people that really are not vibing with not having the support that they had in the past as far as their individual parses, well, we've talked about it, and we've got some contingencies for issues that may arise. So if you do have any issues with this, please feel free to PM me or another officer, and we'll get to the bottom how we can help you meet your personal goals for engagement within the game while still staying true to what we want to have for Convergence. As today's raid is going to be a 4 fun raid. So that means we're ironing out the kinks. We're seeing what this looks like. We don't have Sanukas here, or one of our best geared healers, and so we're making do with what we have, and we are seeing how this goes. There's going to be pretty major strategy differences going into tonight with the 3 melee comps. I started to do some raid plans, as you can see in the Discord channel, and it just hit me that like a lot of these raid plans that we've had are going to have to change. We have more space in the ranged and less space in the melee. A lot more damage going out in certain instances, less going out in others. Damage patterns are going to change for the healers, and we're going to have to get used to them. We have some players playing new classes that they're going to have to get used to, and so this is going to be a testing the waters week. Next week is going to be more of a speed week, and the following week after that, I could see us deeming as a full speed clear pump week. So really excited to see what we got in the tank here, and yeah, it's going to be fun. So make sure you come with the proper mindset, the expectations set that we are feeling things out. It's not going to be super hyper focused on, as you can expect in a normal parse week. So just be patient with some people learning new elements of the game, and come with a good attitude. And lastly, guys, I want to zoom out a little bit more to kind of give you the roadmap of what we're thinking about for Convergence for the next few years even. And so as you can see here, we are really excited for Wrath of the Lich King and what that brings. I've got a whole new State of the Guild sometime dropping in the beginning of Sunwell on all of the plans that we've been making for Wrath of the Lich King to continue the amazing growth we've had as a guild. And I'm beyond excited to have that be our flagship game going forward into the next couple of years. Tangential to that, Diablo 4 is coming out as well eventually, right? We haven't heard much on it lately, but I did get my hands on it at BlizzCon a couple of years ago, and it was quite the game. It was very good. A lot of us here really enjoy Diablo 2, Diablo 3 in different aspects, and this has the opportunity to really push the envelope there. I remember, and this was again over 2 years ago now, there was a zoom out function on a world boss that supported 10 or more players doing MMO like boss mechanics. And with the success of things like Lost Ark coming out, I would be pretty shocked if this game didn't have support for things like, smaller scale raiding going forward into the future. In addition to that, you obviously seen the activity among our Destiny community. That's going to continue to grow. It is kind of a for fun game, so no worries there of that taking any major time away from some of our flagship offerings. But for the weeks that these new contents do come out, people get pretty excited for them. So happy to have that on there as the slate going through 2024. And then finally, the end game of everything, the Riot Games TBA MMO will be coming out soon. Could be 2024, could be 2025, but we'll have content up until that point. But that is the end game, and we'll keep you updated as we learn more on that front. All right, guys, thanks for sitting through the State of the Guild this month. We got a lot happening, a lot going on. I'm really excited, as you probably have heard 10 other times in this very video. I couldn't be more happy with where things are going, some of the changes we've been making, some of the officers stepping up to fulfill certain needed roles, and I think we're in a really good spot to continue to push the envelope on what it means to be a speed kill guild. Got a lot of things on the horizon to be successful going into Sunwell, and then we have that whole phase that I personally, on a personal level, am really excited for. Only 6 bosses, all very challenging. Not a lot of old content that needs to be done in the meantime, and just a lot of fun to be had soon. And I hope you share that enthusiasm. I hope we have a great raid night tonight. Come with a good attitude. Come with your game face on, and good luck in raid tonight, guys. Let's have fun.